Yeah.
Everybody put your phones on silent. We are finally back with Sports Talk with Gary. Thank goodness. I
Oh,
Gary, I got to be honest with you. One of the biggest shout outs I got over the last 2 weeks was about you saying, I miss Gary so much because Brian and Cullen would come on here and be like, the guy from Iowa, the guy with the hair, the guy with no information and and it'd be like, did you see him at the combine? Yeah, I saw him at the combine, and then nothing else. And the guy saying this is my brother Kyle, your biggest fan. He was
what?
like, he was chewing it back like, I really miss Gary. Like Gary happens
Wow.
to know what he's talking about. So you have a new fan out there, and yeah, he's in. He's all the way in.
Hey, one at a time. It's always good. It's always good to have a fan.
That's what it
Hopefully,
takes.
hopefully I can keep that fan. But Nick, it's so good to be back. It's good to see you. Just off the top, Nick, I'm just curious. Did you do any kind of March Madness bracket?
I I don't. I'm not a March Madness guy. I'm not really a big
Right.
basketball guy. Like I'll watch the Sixers if they're playing well,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
they are not. I mean, they beat the Bulls the other night by a lot, but like, who's that? That's like me beating up a kindergartner.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
uh, no, I'm not a basketball guy, and I understand that March Madness is different because these kids are really
Yep.
playing for their futures, and it's a real big deal, and there's upsets and all that stuff. I don't know anybody, like, and
I,
it's just
I,
too much for me to learn all these
yeah.
new people.
Yeah, Nick, I'm with you, man. So I'm not the biggest college basketball fan like I used to be back in the '90s. Nick, college basketball and college football in the '90s was my absolute wheelhouse, right? And I loved college basketball, and you got to see those kids usually play for, even in basketball, 2 years, maybe three. And,
Sure.
in case of Chris Webber with the Fab Five, he left after a year. Um, I will say with the Sixers, right? Show me in the playoffs, especially with Embiid. So we'll see what they do in the playoffs. Love Tyrese Maxey, love Edgecombe. And then with college basketball, my family, just the three of us, my wife and I and our son, we do a little, we fill out the men's bracket, and the winner, whoever wins that men's bracket for us, gets to kind of pick where they want to go for dinner, right? That's how we do it. So my wife, who's a teacher, filled out her bracket, and I saw her bracket before the tournament started. And Nick, I made a cardinal sin of husband. I said, you know what? I looked at her bracket, Nick, and I said, and I quote, you got no chance. Who's leading? Who's leading? Who has the best bracket in the house right now? My wife. And every time and she does the scoring, but she always reminds me, remember you said I have no chance. So I'll hear that. I'll hear that probably for the next year, and that's okay. We laugh about it,
You're gonna
but
hear
never
it. You're gonna hear it
tell.
before March Madness starts
Oh,
next year.
I'm already hearing it. And,
Yeah,
and
no, I
by the
mean
way,
she's
Nick,
gonna hang on to this one for a while, so you got to
yes,
come to
yes.
two.
My wife has a great memory. By the way, I picked Arkansas to win the tournament. They got knocked out last night. So she picked Duke, but her bracket looks really good. I'm pretty much done. And I said, you got no chance, and she's gonna have the last laugh because she's gonna end up winning it.
Well,
Um,
everybody's going to want to know if you won, where were you going to dinner?
I was gonna go to Cheesecake Factory. I I
Oh,
I really I really enjoy the Cheesecake Factory. There's a couple local spots we have in town that we like as well, but for our audience, I'll give the national chain of the Cheesecake Factory. My favorite dish, Nick, at the Cheesecake Factory, is called the chicken and shrimp jambalaya pasta. It's a famous dish in Louisiana, New Orleans. I love pasta. It's a linguine with chicken and shrimp, some spices, some peppers, and it's really really good. Nick, are you a fan of the Cheesecake Factory?
well, as it happens, I just went there. So
Okay.
Kelly and Cullen and I, with my parents, went to the Cheesecake Factory. They had some kind of lunch date with my cousin Thomas, who's a weirdo,
Yep.
and he canceled. And they were like, "Should we cancel the reservation?" And I was like, "No, no, absolutely not." I ended up with
No.
the gumbo, which is close,
Oh,
same kind of
yes.
Cajun-y,
Yeah. Yeah.
spicy type
Yeah.
of dish,
You
but
can't go.
rice instead of pasta. I
Yeah.
prefer rice to pasta. But yeah, I'm a fan. They have a
Can't
huge
go. Can't
menu.
go wrong. Can't go
Huge
wrong
menu.
with the cheesecake. Can't go wrong with the Cheesecake Factory. And then my favorite piece of cheesecake is for me. We like to get the Oreo cheesecake and we bring it home. We bring it home and eat it later.
Yeah.
So
I am not a dessert guy. That
okay,
part of the Cheesecake Factory is kind of lost on me. Everybody else got dessert. That's cool. Like I'll sit
Yep.
around with you while you eat
Yeah.
dessert.
Yeah.
But I am typically like the thinnest person at the Cheesecake Factory near us,
Okay.
like, which
Okay.
is Gary. I'm 6'2" on a good day.
Yep.
I'm I'm like 250 pounds.
Yeah.
If I'm the thinnest
Yeah.
person there, your
Yep.
area has a problem. But I
Yes.
feel really good
Yes.
because I'm like, "Oh, look at me. Look at thin me
Yes.
squeezing in between these seats. You can do that." Yeah.
Yes.
So
Um,
that always feels nice.
yes, and I'm gonna pivot because I want to make sure my number one fan Kyle is happy.
Yeah.
So we're gonna take it to the birds, Nick. First here, right off the top, Nick. We are 27 days away. Malcolm Jenkins, number 27. We are 27 days away from the NFL draft.
I'm here for it. I do listen,
Okay.
just like I don't do March Madness, I don't know a lot about college football, but
Yes.
I do know that there are some players that Cullen has pointed out to me that we like.
Yes, and we are going to get into that, but I'm gonna start it off the top here, Nick. I want to. My question off the top to you is this: as of today, now granted, we still have the draft coming up.
Mhm.
Howie Roseman will probably look to make moves even after the draft. Howie Roseman has said they're evaluating the roster each and every day. But are the Eagles, and again, this picture is not complete by any imagination, but I'm going to ask, are the Eagles better or worse right now than when they ended the season? And here's the players that they lost, and then I'm going to go with the players that they got. So they lost Jalen Phillips. I mean, he just got paid by Carolina. That it is what it was. I think the Eagles wanted to bring him back. He got paid by Carolina, a big contract by Carolina. Uh, we lost our N'Kobe Dean. We lost him as I predicted to the Raiders. There were some Eagle ties there. So we lose Phillips, we lose Dean, we lose Blankenship. Now that one surprised me. Jahan Dotson, okay. Brent Toth is gone. I'm sorry, Nick. I was gonna mail you the Matt Pryor jersey. It was ready, it was in the mail, and then he went elsewhere, so you're not going to be receiving that. And then last week, in a move, I'm not shocked, but I'm still surprised they kind of made it. Or what this could mean to the safety room. They traded Sidney Brown. So that's who they lost. And here's who we got: Reek Woolen, the cornerback from the Seahawks. We got the edge rusher. I'm gonna his name I can't pronounce the whole thing, but Abikte. He's a Penn State grad. He's an edge rusher. Nick, I love this move they got. Marquise Hollywood Brown, the wide receiver from the Chiefs. I think he's the fastest receiver that they've probably had since Quez Watkins. I think he can really help. I love that move on a 1-year deal for Hollywood Brown. And then I also love Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore, the former second round pick, went to Ole Miss. Supposedly, AJ Brown was a big mentor of his, so there's a real close relationship there. I love Brown and Moore and the depth that could potentially give you at wide receiver. And as of today, Nick, as of the taping of this podcast, AJ Brown is still on this roster, so that's how we're going to approach it. I like the fact that they re-signed Marcus Epps. Now, ideally, I like Marcus Epps as a third safety. I think he's a perfect third safety versus a starter. If he has to step in as a starter here and there or injuries, okay. But I love him as the third safety. We got Johnny Munt from the Jags. He's like a blocking tight end, so I'm okay with that. A little bit of news here. Andy Dalton is now a quarterback for the Eagles and a backup quarterback. Will they trade McKee? We'll see. We're going to get into that conversation in a minute. I want to get into that conversation with you, but we got Andy Dalton. I like that move. Jonathan Jones, longtime cornerback for the Patriots. We'll see what he has left in the tank. And then they got a special teams guy, more of a safety, but he's really a special teams guy. So are they better now versus when they left the season? Honestly, Nick, as of right now, let's not forget, they brought back Fred Johnson, which I thought was a great move.
Yeah.
And they brought back Dallas Goedert, which I did not see coming, but I love that move as well. Um, and it's hard to say. Obviously, we want to see if hopefully the OC is as good as advertised. They got Damian Pierce, the running back, which I like. So I'm going to say, are they good now as they were when they ended the season? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. But depending on how they draft and maybe how he has a move or two up his sleeve, we'll see. But Nick, how do you feel? How do you feel about the departures? And is there anybody that you like that they brought in?
I'm actually gonna give you I brought this up to Cullen last night after you texted me, and his position was the Eagles are better. They're better now than they
Okay.
were, and his
Okay.
main reason was that they didn't sign Jalen Phillips. He said
Okay. Yeah.
Jalen Hunt statistically was a better edge rusher than Jalen Phillips last year. Now, Jalen Phillips came partway through the season, wasn't here all year, but he's also older and costs a lot of money. And Colin's like, Jalen Hunt is the guy. He's the guy.
Yeah.
He's like, so all this smokescreen about Myles Garrett and Max Crosby and Jalen Phillips was all nonsense because they knew Jalen Hunt was their guy. Like, sure, they made offers to guys, but like that's they wanted to make 1 or 2 year offers to guy to give Jalen Hunt more time to develop. But they know that he's the guy. So that was his major point. Now I have several points, and I
Right.
actually agree with Colin.
I do think that was a real quick I thought that was a good take by Colin. I like that take by
Yeah.
Colin, but go ahead.
So I disagree with you also. A lot of these moves are nonsense moves. Like the kid we got, the special teams guy we got, that's because you lost Sidney Brown. He was
Yeah.
really just a
Yep.
special teamer. He was a
Yep.
detriment to your team when he was on the
Yep.
field because he's a
Yep.
penalty machine.
Agreed.
Um,
Agreed.
you upgraded from Dotson to Hollywood Brown,
Yep.
clearly, right? With your corner with Woolen from Seattle, it's a clear upgrade at the corner position. Yes, he's kind of a dummy when he's out there, like after the play. So you're gonna get 1 or 2 penalties this year, like after the play, and you don't know who it is. You don't know if it's Woolen, you don't know if it's Quinion, you don't know if it's Jalen.
Right.
One of those guys is gonna do something stupid.
Yep.
Um, but he's a clear upgrade in that position. Um, by not bringing back Toth and the infamous Matt Pryor, I would put no one out there and instead of them, and I think we're a
Yep.
better team. Like
Yep.
so, they're dreadful players that made us worse because they were there. They were taking a
Yes.
spot from a younger player that should have been up there. So I think we upgrade there. Andy Dalton being there, he's going to be like a player coach. He's not. It doesn't really change anything except they could maybe get rid of Kyle McCord. Like I don't think they're
Yeah.
really. I don't know that Tanner's going to require the same attention that he did before he played at the end of the season and looked kind of bad.
Yeah. I think
So,
I think I think I go ahead. I don't want to slow your roll. Keep going.
right. So, Marcus Epps, same thing. Okay. It's nice to have him there for depth, but
Yep.
the Eagles are gonna, I mean, we'll get into the draft, but safety is going to be something the Eagles handle
Oh,
in the draft.
yes.
Either
Yes.
either a trade on draft day where they fleece some team for their safety, like they did
Mhm.
AJ Brown,
Mhm.
or they're just going to take a guy and you'll have another young safety. But I think everybody forgets that like I know they really just want to use Cooper DeJean in like a nickel kind of like slot safety position,
Yeah.
slot corner
Yeah.
type of area, but he can play all over the field. And as he gets more acclimated to being a pro ball player, I wouldn't be surprised to see him out there as your second safety kind of all the time. I would not be
You
surprised if they just throw him out there and go
yeah.
cause havoc, go muddy
You
things up.
you could, but I here's what I will say. I think Cooper DeJean is the best nickel cornerback in the NFL. Period. He
Yeah,
is. He's the best nickel cornerback in the NFL. You could also make the case now, and I'm sure, with all due respect to all the great safeties the Eagles have had, but you can make the case now that nickel cornerback in today's NFL is even more important than safety. So I don't think Cooper DeJean's gonna play safety. I think they want to keep him at nickel cornerback, and they're gonna keep him at nickel cornerback, and then they're gonna pay Cooper DeJean at some point when that time comes. They love Cooper DeJean, so I
do
think
you think by
he'll stay at nickel.
having Quinion Mitchell and Woolen on the other side, and then having you know Cooper in that nickel corner, do you need like is Marcus Epps enough?
That's a great question.
Right, I mean, you have Makuba. You assume you're gonna
Yeah,
have Makuba, who's
yeah.
capable. Is
He's
Marcus
coming, but
Epps?
he's Makuba is still coming off of, serious injury.
Yeah,
Uh, I don't think they view I think they view Marcus Epps as a very good, as I said, the very good third safety. And I think again, the Eagles, and I have it written down here, Nick, the Eagles have a 4 picks in the top 100 come draft day. 4 picks in the top 100. You're obviously you're going to see a safety there. Maybe like Makuba. might see a second round safety, but I think they're gonna draft a safety, and they're looking to get younger there.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't think and I like Marcus Epps a lot. That's a great
Yeah.
question, and maybe it will be decided in camp. But I will I will be shocked if we get to day 3 of the draft, Nick. If we get to day 3 of the draft and we don't have a safety before day 3.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. So before we get too deep into the draft,
Sure.
um, all of the any running back or wide receiver that the Eagles bring in are camp fodder. That's all they are. You have your running back room, you have your wide receiver room. It is AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Hollywood Brown,
Yep.
and
Elijah Moore.
Elijah Moore's camp fodder. He's going to go. They like this Darius. Well, they could put Darius Cooper down on the practice squad still. So
Yeah.
you could practice squad the
Uh,
kid, but you don't want to lose him because he's an incredible route runner. I AJ Brown is not going anywhere. He's not
we'll
being
see.
traded. He's not.
We'll see.
It's all
Okay.
it. Listen,
I hope not. I hope not.
it's
I hope not.
all nonsense. They have nothing to talk about because there's still 27 days until the draft. So all of these radio stations need callers. All of these websites need clicks. He's not getting traded. They're going to keep him at
So you
least until next year. He may retire as an Eagle. He's not
okay?
getting traded this year.
Okay. The one thing I will say just to keep in mind, and I'm not saying you're wrong. Okay.
But
Does does Quinion Mitchell need an extension
yeah,
at some point? Yes. Right. In theory, Jalen Carter at some point will get an extension. Correct.
right.
Cooper DeJean at some point will get an extension.
Mhm,
Your guy, Jalen Hunt, probably going to get an extension. Right.
mhm.
We'll see about big. This is a big year for Nolan Smith. We'll see what it would. Jordan Davis just got an extension. So the one thing I will say, Nick, if they trade AJ Brown, they are undoubtedly not as good of a team if they trade AJ Brown this year. But if you do trade AJ Brown, it really helps you from a cap standpoint in 27, 28, and 29, where I believe it was from Jeff McClain, I read that it frees up about $100 million in cap space in 27, 28, and 29. And now you could spend that money on your young defense. So that's the only reason why, again, we'll see. I mean, that's something that Howie Roseman is gonna. He doesn't get rid of good players. He just doesn't. And
No.
and they're a better team with AJ Brown. And again, we don't know the conversations that are being had between offensive coordinator and all that stuff. So look, the bottom line is at the end of the day, today, AJ Brown is on the Eagles, and I'm gonna talk about AJ Brown being on the Eagles until he's not. End the
Right.
story,
Right.
right?
Right. Right. Yeah.
But that's it. That's it. And if he does get traded, then we'll talk about it then. But I will say this. In 27, if they were to move him, it does free up cap space down the road. That being said, Nick, I've said this to you a million times. When it comes to the cap and Howie Roseman, I'm not concerned at all. Because he just figures it out, right? I mean, he
Yeah.
just figures it out.
Always.
And to your point, well, it's great to say, oh yeah, like what are we getting back for AJ Brown, and we're gonna save money and this and that and the other thing. Well, you know what, Nick? The Tennessee Titans on draft night traded AJ Brown to the Eagles, and they drafted Trayvon Burks. And Trayvon Burks was a draft bust. Before we had AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, the Eagles under Howie Roseman drafted many, many wide receivers that ended up not being good. So look, he's an Eagle right now, and we're gonna talk about it that way until he's not.
Yeah. I mean, I will stick my sword in the ground that AJ Brown is a Philadelphia Eagle through this coming season.
Sure, sure. And you know what? Nick, if AJ Brown is an Eagle and if he's healthy, I think Hollywood Brown could have a big year. I really like that pickup with Hollywood Brown.
And
Because if you got Devontae Smith, you got AJ Brown. I love the fact that they got like this. You got everybody back. The best thing I read this morning before I jumped on with you is that Cam Jorgens is saying now that he really feels good, that he's feeling healthy. I mean, what's he gonna say, right?
yeah.
But like
Oh, I feel
now
horrible.
but basically, now he's a year removed from that back injury. I'm not a
Yep.
doctor, and I know these guys are superhuman athletes, but back injuries are not good. But he is saying he is feeling better. He's maybe a year removed now, and that's huge because if you could get that line to play as good as what they should be playing at and where Cam Jordan should be, it all starts up front with the Eagles. We know that on the offense and on the defense. And I know we have a new line coach here, Nick, but let's not forget in last year's draft they drafted a lineman and Drew Kendall. They drafted Miles Hilton out of Michigan, who won the national title. They drafted the kid Williams out of Texas.
Hmm?
And then they got this kid Lumpkin off the Rams practice squad, I believe it was. So, like, you've got 3 or
Lampkin, I
4
think it
young
was, right?
kids. You got
Yeah.
4 young kids right there. Like, let's see what this new O-line coach does with that guy. And that being said, we'll talk draft, but in the first round, I'm sorry. In the first round, I do. I could totally see the Eagles going offensive line or defensive line, going with a pass rusher.
Yeah.
They
I
they they won't go safety. They won't go safety in
No.
the first round. Nick, I am telling you, the safety room right now with the Eagles, they need to do something because it is bare.
Yeah, I would imagine second round you're gonna take a safety.
Yeah.
And I think they may trade up in that second round. I think they may trade
Yep.
down in the first round
Mhm.
because there's so many linemen, a super deep lineman draft
Yes.
where you can really get something. And did I read something that Stoutland was staying on in some kind of capacity?
I read that as well, but until I officially hear it from the Eagles themselves, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah. I mean,
You know what I'm saying?
even as a consultant, for
Yeah.
draft night, like,
Yeah.
that's the kinda guy you want because he knows who can develop. So, like,
Right.
I'm down with that. So, whether or not it's, I mean, there's so many damn tackles in this draft. So, I wouldn't be surprised if they traded down a few spots in the first round and ended up with an extra maybe second or third round pick, like, some kind of package deal. Um,
Yeah.
and then I think tackle first round, second round safety. I think what bringing back Goddard and Calcaterra and this other kid that I forget his
Yeah,
name off the top of my
month.
head, Munt, Johnny
Yeah,
Munt.
yeah.
By bringing these guys in, you you kinda kept the status quo as far as your tight ends, but also you took off the table the necessity or even the thought of drafting a tight end in the first round, which I mean, I didn't think they would ever do anyway. That's not a position they really go for in the first round, but to kind of know going into the draft, oh, we don't need this Sadiq kid from Oregon, right? Is it Oregon? Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't need him. We have our guys. It pushes off the need to draft a tight end by a year.
Yeah, so that's a great point, right? So the way the Eagles go about it is I truly believe Howie Roseman, as much as he loves to draft, he ideally he doesn't want to draft a player where you draft a guy and now he becomes an instant starter, right? So like for example, like, and I'm not saying, obviously you bring Goddard back now, so like maybe they draft a tight end. They're not gonna. I don't know if they're gonna take a tight end at some point, but like they don't want to draft somebody and they're like an instant starter. At least not at like I can't see like 23 unless they move up. Like again, Lane Johnson, like he was a top 5 pick. Jalen Carter was top 5 talent. So like those guys started immediately.
Yeah.
Quinion Mitchell, like case in point, like they might take a cornerback in that first round. Like that could happen, but like he's gonna have to challenge. Obviously, they brought in Reek Woolen. You know what I'm saying? So like, and if he's the best man for the job, like so be it. But they don't want to force the issue and be like, all right, we took this guy in the first round and now he must start.
Yeah.
They want these picks to obviously beat somebody out.
Yeah. They want them to compete for the position. So yeah, I think you're gonna have a really unsexy offensive and defensive lineman laden draft haul from the Eagles. You know, even in the unrestricted, undrafted free agent market, I think you're going to see a lot of those guys come in. I think you'll have a safety corner here or there, but I think for the most part, you're going to see a lot of linemen for the Eagles this year. And it's
So,
going to be kind of boring. It's always boring a little bit, but it's what they need.
yeah. Do you, Nick, like for me, I like right now where they are at wide receiver and at corner. And I'm not saying I don't, obviously they could add to that, certainly. But I like wide receiver and corner. My positions of need that really worry me are but safety number one by far, linebacker and defensive end. And like they lose Dean, but you got Jahad Campbell, but it's they need Jahad Campbell and Trotter
Yeah.
to have a not saying they won't, but they have to have a good year. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like
They have to
you know,
really show a lot more than they did. Now they were both good. Like Chad Campbell's great in coverage, and
Yeah.
Trotter showed some sparks and stuff. They have to continue to develop. Here's the thing
Yep.
about Dean. I don't think you're going to find a bigger N'Kobe Dean fan than me. I
Yeah.
I was
Yep.
devastated when they didn't take him in the first round of his draft and in the second round. Right? It waited
Yes.
all the way until the third round,
Yep.
I think.
Yeah.
My wife had to
Yeah.
come wake me up in bed. I was so distraught. I knew he was a special player, and he is,
Yes. Yeah.
but the best ability you need these guys
It's
to have,
availability. Yes.
availability, and Nakobe
Yes.
Dean is never gonna be available for 17 games and
You're right.
playoffs. It's never gonna
Right.
happen, and I'm glad that he went and got paid. I'm glad he went
Yep.
and got a big contract, like, that's great, like, I want that for guys like him, guys that really care about the
Sure.
sport and seem to
Sure.
be good stand-up people and not these animals that are running around beating up their girlfriends in hotels and stuff, like, I don't want those guys to succeed, I want Nakobe Dean to succeed. The problem
Yeah.
is he does he make your team better? The answer is when he's there, he makes your team better. But when he's
Yes. Yeah.
not there, it makes your team markedly worse because you're making up for somebody that's not there and who is not going to be there every week. So you have to have a guy like almost as good as him sitting around waiting. And
Yeah.
that doesn't help guys like Jai Campbell progress when they're sitting
Yeah.
behind Nakobe Dean waiting.
Yeah. And I'm really excited to see Jihad Campbell in year two. Again, I said to you this before. N'Kobe Dean you knew N'Kobe Dean was gone when they drafted Jihad Campbell.
Yeah.
But we talk about availability. Who's always available for the Eagles is Zach Bond, right? He's always, Zach Bond's always on the field. Who also is always available, Nick, is Nino's Pizza, right? I
I
mean,
mean,
they never disappoint. And where
they
where can
don't.
you find them again, Nick?
They're on Main Street, Lansdale, PA. Uh, that's East Main Street. You stay off of West Main Street. That's nothing but trouble there,
Okay.
especially late night. All right. But
Yep.
East Main Street, Nino's is there. Now we did lose our girl Margaret, so we're all a little bummed out.
Yes.
But they are open for business, and we got to make sure we go in there and support those guys because they're having a tough time, just like we're having a tough time, but worse because she was their actual family. So
Yes.
I'm just some idiot that walks in there and lets her yell at me and appreciates it. Yeah.
Yes.
So
And who also is open for business is Howie Roseman. Howie
yes, he
Roseman is
is.
always open for
Yes, he is.
business.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Always
yeah.
willing to pick up the phone call
Yeah,
or answer. Um, yeah, I just again we'll see come draft what they do in the draft. But one thing I will say, Nick, his last couple draft classes, they've been good.
really good.
Really good.
Yeah. So Steve is just commenting in on our text thread here, Gar. He says he just read something that Cam Jurgens played the entire season last year with a herniated disc in his back. He didn't
Yes.
practice at all last offseason, and he
Yep.
played probably 50% capacity all year. Then he said right before the playoffs, the disc broke off and wrapped around his sciatic nerve, and he could barely walk.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've never had a
Yeah.
hernia. Wait, I don't know if
So
I've ever had a herniated disc, but I can't
yeah.
imagine it feels all that good. I've had back
No.
pain, but I didn't even know a disc could break off. So that is a wild injury. So if he is all set from that injury, but that sounds like a hell of a thing to repair. Like, how do you, I don't even like, I'm not a medical doctor, but I
Yeah.
don't know how easy it is to repair that kind of thing. Did he have surgery?
I know he went out of the country. He went out
Oh,
of the country.
that's what he did.
You know, I think it was Colombia. I think he went to Colombia to try to find the cure. I mean, it's serious stuff, and it's huge for the team because here's what I do know, Nick. I don't know how good the offensive coordinator is going to be, but I do know that if the Eagles' offensive line is actually healthy, if we could get a healthy offensive line and a healthy Saquon Barkley, I've seen that before.
Yep.
Like I've seen what a healthy offensive line and what a
Yeah.
healthy Saquon Barkley can do. It could take you all the way to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
So again, I just hope that Jurgens is healthy, and you hope the same for Dickerson, and that's why in the draft, like I really expect them to load up on the offensive side of the ball, offensive line and safety to the point where I don't think they're going to do it, but again, I think back to 2002 when they went with Sheldon Brown and Lito Shepherd. They went Lito Shepherd in round 1, Sheldon Brown in round 2. I don't think they go like safety, safety. They could go, defensive end safety. All I know is this safety room has to get better because I don't like the way it looks right now.
No, no, you're right. No, it's gonna be second round safety, maybe fourth round safety. But they're not spending, and I agree with this. Howie Roseman is not gonna spend a first round draft pick. Now he did for Quinyon Mitchell, right? Quinyon was first round pick.
Yeah,
But
he was a first round kid. Yeah,
Howie Roseman typically doesn't take defensive backs in the first round. And I agree with him because how many defensive backs come out of the draft where you're like, this guy is going to be incredible. He's gonna lock down the league for 15 years, and then he comes out, he doesn't, and he's Sauce Gardner. I mean, like,
yeah,
where you're like, okay, like he's 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 manageable, but like he's not lighting the world on fire. Well, that's what you
right.
need to avoid. And you need a guy that's going to light the world on fire for you. You need a starter for 10 years out of your first round draft pick. That's the goal. That's the necessity of the first round. So he's going
Yeah,
to go offensive line. He's going to go with a guy that can progress, that can sit for a year or even play guard next to Lane
yeah,
Johnson.
yeah,
But if you have Fred Johnson, I think the mistake that they made is not having Fred Johnson play guard because they knew Lane Johnson was prone to injury. But Fred Johnson definitely seems more sturdy. Obviously, a younger guy, so he would be. But I think they should play Fred Johnson at guard, and that Tyler Steen is still on this team.
yeah.
Son of
And
a
and, and,
bitch!
and he will. I mean, we'll see. I'm higher on Steam than you are. I'm higher on Steam than you are.
It's a really low
Um,
bar. It's a low bar
I
I set.
well, you know, um, and we'll see where he is this year. But I just think that them getting back Fred Johnson is is just a great move. And then to your point, like, I mean, I always think back to Sean Andrews, right? Like they drafted him in the first round. He was a
Mhm.
beast. They wanted to play him at tackle, but they didn't want to move him to tackle yet because at that time you had Runyon and Trey Thomas. So they put him in there at guard, Nick, and he was the best guard in the league.
Yeah,
Right? So, like, in a perfect world, hopefully they could draft a lineman where maybe you could compete with Tyler Steen, or obviously we'll see what kind of shape Landon Dickerson's in, and then eventually you could just kind of shift him out to tackle. But yeah, I just think that this draft is gonna, you know, they're gonna focus a little more on offense and definitely on the offensive line, and then they got some young guys there now, and we'll see how good the O line, how good this O line coach is, because again, like he might look for a different kind of player, than maybe what Stoutland looked for.
yeah. So I'm seeing right here that Cam Jurgens had a stem cell procedure done on his back.
Yes.
I don't know how any of this works, but apparently he's gonna be 100% by the beginning of July and ready for training camp, which is like, if he couldn't practice or work out all last summer, and now he can come in and actually get a good offseason in, he could be back to Super Bowl Cam Jurgens.
Well, not only that, I mean, obviously that was a great tidbit by Steve, but Cam Jurgens. I think that injury may have been initially like in that Super Bowl run, if you will,
Yeah,
because because in the NFC Championship game, he couldn't even. They had Dickerson start at center in the NFC Championship game. Like
yep.
he couldn't even play in the NFC Championship game. Then they had to bring him in, and then he said in the Super Bowl he doesn't even know how he played because he couldn't walk. So clearly, the bottom line is Cam Jurgens wasn't even close to 100%, and hopefully he could get to 100%. But and again, I'm not a doctor, Nick, but when it comes to the back, I would think if your back's not good, it's never going to be 100%. I hope
Well,
that's not the case with him.
I hope not. I don't know what these stem cells do, Gary. Okay, I'm just
No.
some moron in Lansdale. I don't know a lot of things, but if they can fix a broken back, that would be super. We should use it for more
Yeah.
stuff. I have stuff around
Yeah.
this house I could fix with some good stem cells. So,
All I know is if Cam Jurgens is healthy and playing to where he needs to play
yeah.
at 100%, 95%, the Eagles are a better team. I actually quick story. So when Jason Kelsey calls it a career, goes into sports media. I was able to meet Jason Kelsey one morning and talk to him a little bit, and I said to him, this is when I knew Cam Jurgens was going to be that was his first full year starting going into that year. And I said to Jason, I said, man, I said I hope Cam's gonna be good. I really hope Cam's gonna be good. And Jason Kelsey looked right at me and he goes, Cam is gonna be just fine. He's like, he's a good one. So, he's a great player when he's healthy, and the Eagles are gonna be a better offense, when he's healthy. And honestly, with Andy Dalton, Nick, I think Andy Dalton, I'll tell you what, man, I don't think the Eagles were very, very happy with what they saw out of Tanner McKee in that game against Washington, that
Yeah.
you had to win that game. And I thought that I think they expected McKee to play better. I think Andy Dalton is going to be your backup, and I think Andy Dalton, believe it or not, is just to kind of push Jalen Hurts, help Jalen Hurts with this new offense, supposedly push him. I like the fact that they got a veteran in Andy Dalton, like you said, another coach on the field, which I think that's a great analogy by you. And here's the thing with Tanner McKee: could they trade Tanner McKee, get something for him? But Nick, I don't see. The thing is, I don't know where you trade him now,
Yeah.
because if I'm trading Tanner McKee, I'm basically trading him to a spot where he could become where he's a full-time starter. And other than Arizona, I can't think of a team right now that would be looking for a starter and say, hey, you know what? Yeah, we'll start him and we'll give you a third round pick for him.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think if you get a third round pick for the guy, I think that's the way to go. He's never going to be your starting quarterback. It's not like you've drafted Jalen's replacement when he's done. This guy is a backup quarterback. And if you can find a team desperate, you can get a third round pick out of them. And you've turned a seventh round pick that you traded for Andy Dalton into a third round pick or fourth round pick for Tanner McKee, which is a win. Anytime you do that, it's
Yeah.
a win.
I just don't think they're gonna be able to trade him. Like, I just don't see a place where he could go right now, because I just think of all the, for example, like, you'd say Miami, but Miami got Malik Willis. Minnesota, but Minnesota just got Kyler Murray. Even the Jets, now the Jets were supposedly interested, but now they got Geno Smith. So, I mean, we'll see what happens, draft weekend. But I think I will say that Tanner McKee will be on the Eagles roster in this season.
Yeah.
If he gets moved, he'll only be in season, because maybe a quarterback gets hurt in training camp, or like we saw with Sam Bradford that one year. But I think Tanner McKee is going to be on the Eagles this year. Your three quarterbacks are going to be Jalen Hurts and Andy Dalton and Tanner McKee.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I agree. I don't think there's a real high chance of getting anything for him, but I yeah, I mean, even McCord, maybe you can get a sixth round pick for McCord. And again, it just upgrades what you gave up for Dalton to something a little better. Or you cut McCord. It's a seventh round pick. It's basically an undrafted free agent. So
Yeah, Nick, with all due respect, they would right now they can't get a Wawa hoagie for Kyle McCord. So yeah, they would. Kyle McCord is going to either go back to practice squad, or he'll just be cut. But
yeah.
he's going back to practice squad.
Yeah, I
Now,
agree with that.
if they move McKee, it's a different story. But yeah, Kyle McCord will be on practice squad,
All right.
if
Well,
anywhere.
I gotta tell you, Garrett, we thought we were gonna make this like a really long, long talk, but we kind of mowed through some stuff here.
Yeah,
I mean, the only thing I need to know is, now that you are going to lose your March Madness bracket, where is
yeah.
she going to make you guys go to dinner?
Oh man. I'm thinking. You know what? I'll have that answer for you next podcast.
Okay. All
Uh,
right. We will
yeah,
wait on bated breath.
yeah,
Where's
yeah.
Gary going to
I'm
have to go
not
to dinner?
sure.
Oh,
I'm
don't
not
let it be
sure.
like a vegan place or something.
No,
She
no, it
wouldn't
won't
do
be.
that
It
to
won't
you.
be. It won't be. It won't be a vegan place. But yeah, if you want, not that I'm full of marital advice from Uncle Gary, um, but if you want, Nick, I know you've been even married longer than me, um, but don't ever doubt your wife, right?
No. Nope.
Don't ever doubt your wife. So
No.
yeah, I mean, because I'll tell you, man, she's kicking my butt in the bracket, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And never tell her you doubt her.
No,
Okay. Like, you can doubt. Don't ever let her know.
nope, nope.
There's
Oh,
there's there's some 20 years worth of advice for you. Don't ever
yeah,
let her know.
yeah, she is I'll tell you, man, I Nick, I say it all the time. In my mind, teachers. Now I got a lot of teachers in my family. My wife's a teacher. Teachers and nurses, and those who work in hospice, they go straight to heaven. They're angels on earth.
What about
So
what about the people that run fake hospice places, and collect money from the taxpayer and don't actually have any patients? Do they also go, or is there a special place in hell for them?
yeah, I don't know. I just like I said, man, I just know first teachers and nurses, man. I mean, they are special people. They are special people.
Well, I like that. So, listen,
As is first responders.
of course, I think that goes without
Yep.
saying,
And obviously our military. Our military.
and the Philadelphia Phillies,
Well, they played well.
the undefeated
One
Philadelphia
game, but
Phillies.
they played well.
Yeah, they tried
Yeah,
to lose that game late, though. They were doing everything
they
they
got
could.
close. Yeah.
I'm
I
going to
mean,
game I'm going to game 2 tomorrow,
good for
and,
you.
well, they used up their number 1 pitcher and their number 1 closer on
Mhm.
opening night, so now I don't know what I'm getting when I get down there. I don't know what the bullpen's gonna look like. It might be a
Yeah.
bad game. It might be a terrible game to go to, and it's gonna be cold.
Mm.
70 degrees
Okay.
today, or 70 degrees
Okay.
yesterday, 50 degrees today, 40 degrees tomorrow.
Okay. But you're still seeing baseball
We're still
with
gonna
no
go to a
snow on
baseball
the
game.
field.
Yep, yep,
With no snow on the field.
we're gonna go down for some, to Reading Terminal Market, get some
Yep.
food there. We're gonna go to John's
Mhm.
Roast Pork, we're gonna get some food there, and then we're gonna
Okay.
go to the game, and we're not gonna buy food in the game because 'cause we're not dummies. We are gonna
Yeah.
buy beer in the game. We will buy beer in the game.
Yes.
And then we'll
Yes.
probably go to McNally's for a schmitter. If you've never been, Gary,
Okay.
you're missing out.
Okay.
It's this little
Okay.
hole in the wall bar right outside the city. They
Yep.
have the greatest sandwich on the planet
Yeah.
called the schmitter. It's like
Yep.
hot roast beef, cheese, salami,
Mhm.
onions, and whatever sauce they put on it. But yeah, got it. They want to serve it to you on a round roll. Don't fall for this. Don't fall for it. You want it on a long roll because you're a man.
Yep. So my very first Phillies game, Nick, I must have been about 8 years old. It was, I wanna say 1989, and I mean, actually probably even younger than 8, to be honest with you. Um, but was Mike Schmidt's I was against the Giants, Mike Schmidt's last year as a Philly, and, after the we I saw the Phillies game, and then after the Phillies game, my brother said, "Hey, Madonna," and this is '89, so this is Madonna in her prime, Nick. This is
Yes.
big time
Yeah.
Madonna.
It's good, Madonna.
Madonna is so the Phillies being playing in the Giants at Veterans Stadium. Madonna's across the street at the Spectrum. My brother goes, "Hey, why don't we go see, let's go over to see Madonna." And he talks to a security guard, and next thing I know, he's waving us in. And so we saw the Phillies game, and I saw the second half of the Madonna concert. That
Wow.
was my very first concert, actually.
Mine was
Yeah.
Creed. I was embarrassed about it for a while, but now I think back on it longingly. Yeah.
That was your first show?
Yeah, yeah, I'm not a big concert guy. I'm not a big
Yeah.
crowds person,
Yep.
like a crowd of 10, I'm in, it's my room,
Yep.
can handle this, no problem. A crowd of 10,000? Not for me.
So I'm not a big concert guy either. However, I will say that I think who I've seen is somewhat impressive. I got four older brothers. My oldest brother is a huge, and I mean huge, Bruce Springsteen fan. So I've seen the Boss 4 times. The first time being at State College, and Nick, talking about knowing your audience. So we go see Bruce Springsteen. My first time seeing Bruce at State College, and obviously, as you know, the state is the Penn State Nittany Lions, right? And Bruce opens up the show. His first song right out of the gate is called "The Lion's Den,"
Yeah,
and the
play to the
and the
crowd.
place and he knows his crowd, right? And the place just went nuts. He's like, if I'm at the home of the Nittany Lions, we're starting this off with the Lion's Den, and the place went nuts. So I've seen Bruce about 4 times. He's amazing to see. I've seen Billy Joel. My wife loves Bon Jovi. I've seen Bon Jovi twice.
Okay, good.
Stevie Wonder, the Kenny Rogers Christmas special, rest in peace, Kenny Rogers.
Yes,
He was great.
he's a good one.
Yeah, so that's about it. But I've seen Bruce, I've seen Bon Jovi, Billy Joel, Stevie Wonder. I mean, that's pretty good right there.
Yeah, I thought so you called Bruce Springsteen Bruce just then, and I was like, "Oh, no. If Gary tells me how much he loves going to Dave Matthews Band concerts, this podcast is done. It's over.
Yeah,
We're not talking
yeah,
ever again." We dodged a
yeah.
bullet,
I
though.
mean,
Good.
I know a ton of people go to his concerts. I've never been. I wouldn't call myself a Dave Matthews fan, if you will. I know in high school, people are going crazy over him. But yeah, I've not been to a Dave Matthews concert now.
Good. Stay away. and we can remain friends. That's
Yeah.
how this will work.
I will say this, Nick. I've been to a few Eagle road games. I've been to Green
We
Bay.
know.
It was Favre's last year in Green Bay. I've been to San Diego. I've been to Chicago and New Orleans. And I recommend any of those destinations for an Eagles game if you want to go see the birds on the road. I mean, they're great destinations.
Well, listen, if anybody decides to take your advice, I hope they have a better track record when they go to these games because yours
Very
isn't
true.
great. So,
Yes, very true. Yes. And that's why I haven't been in a while.
right.
Yes. Good point. Good point.
All right. Well, listen, I'll I'll hit you up while I'm at the Phillies game tomorrow, and we'll talk next week. We'll get some more draft stuff together. Hopefully, we have something else to kind of go over. I mean, I don't want a lot of big changes between now and the draft. I think we're kind of on a path right now, but everything I keep seeing online is the Miles Garrett, Max Crosby, AJ Brown rumor mills
Yeah.
still flying.
I s I mean, I never hear and Nick, you've said this before, right? Like, never count Howie out, how he's aggressive,
Yep.
how he's gonna pick up the phone. We know how he's aggressive, but again, to me, the Eagles tend to make their biggest move, their earth-shattering moves when just nobody expects it, when it comes out of nowhere.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, to me, maybe they make a move for Myles Garrett. That would be amazing. To me, it'd be like, oh, like, we get breaking news, next week that the Eagles somehow traded up from, they're picking at 23 and now they're picking at 10 or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just something that we don't
Something
see coming.
stupid
That's
crazy.
when the Eagles that's when they make their biggest moves when we don't see coming.
Yep. I hear you.
So,
All right. Well, you're not going to see this one coming. I'm going to go mop the floors now. That's my
okay.
task. That's my task for
Okay.
today while this thing uploads. I'll be mopping
Yep.
the floors.
Okay. And
Really exciting.
we'll talk more draft in the coming weeks here.
Yes, sir. We got no choice.
All right. No, it's gonna be a big draft. It's a big draft for the Eagles and hopefully they hit it again.
And we'll find out how bad you lost to your wife in your March Madness brackets, and we'll find out where you're going to dinner.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Fair enough, sir.
Absolutely.
Good talking to
All
you.
right.
I'll talk to you
Good
soon.
talking to you.
Go
Yeah,
Birds.
absolutely. Go Birds.